How you doing? All right, can I have a little bit more enthusiasm, please? How are we doing? Good morning. It is lovely to see you. Okay, my name is Jenny Flurrie, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a whiz tour of some of what we're up to at a small company called Microsoft. But let me just first say that it's a true honor to be here. I remember first meeting you, Irene, and you came in and you said, I want to do some stuff with accessibility. Can you give me money? I was like, okay. And I said, how much? And she said, a lot. I said, okay, wait. Can you tell me what for? And it was a blind accessibility technology lab. And that was the beginning of our journey. You didn't quite get the amount you were looking for, but we definitely helped along the way. And I know there's a lot more that we still need to do. So let me give you a little bit of a tour on who is Microsoft and kind of what are we up to, and some of what I've been learning over the last few days and the last few months and years as a company as we do invest in Africa, knowing that we have a lot more to learn. So Microsoft, just the basics. We're a company of around 160,000 people around the world. We like to work on this thing called technology, or what I call nerdery. I'm allowed to use that term. We have a mission, which is to empower every person, every organization, and that clearly includes people with disabilities. Our culture, which really matters, I think, when you think about the world of disability, is a growth mindset. What does that mean? That means we don't know it all. I'm the first to profess I really don't know it all. We're a learn-it-all culture. We take risks and we make mistakes. And that's why we progress. And I think in the world of disability, that's really important. There is fear attached to working in disability. It came up in a forum this morning. But I would say to that, take a growth mindset and go for it. Or as I said this morning, jump in the deep end and drown a little. It's okay, because you will, not only mildly drowning, not complete drowning. It's important to the journey. And the journey is important. Every company you'll meet has been on a journey with disability. Microsoft's journey goes back to the 1990s. I think some of you may not have been born in the 1990s. Microsoft is 46 years old. I only know that because I was born in the same year. We were fated to be together. And accessibility started in the 1990s, and it started with how could we make technology accessible for the blind. It's also when groups of people at Microsoft were first coming together. And they were coming together to form deaf groups, blind groups, ADD, and mobility. We now have 22 different groups around the world and multiple thousands of employees with disabilities as a part of them. We've also grown our technology remit a little bit beyond screen reading into multiple areas. And how did I get into this gig? Well, I joined the company in 2005 to work on a product called Hotmail. Does anyone remember? Anyone have a Hotmail? Okay, you are officially my cool people. I still have my Hotmail. I love Hotmail. But I also came into the company and I did not tell them that I have a disability 17 years ago. I didn't self-identify. I didn't ask for accommodations on my interview. My speech is really good, right? You like my speech? It's kind of kick-ass, right? Can I say that? I just did. I'm actually severely profoundly deaf. I do not hear you. You all sound glorious to me. I didn't tell them that I needed captioning or an interpreter when I came in. I did that because I thought it would be held against me. What I quickly realized is that I needed to ask for the help to be successful. I joined the deaf community. I then joined every other community at Microsoft and ended up building the Disability Employee Resource Group, ERG. And then 7 years ago, I became the Chief Accessibility Officer. and I have global remit now over everything to do with disability and accessibility at the company. My disability is a strength, and that is how we view it. My journey really has 4 components. I was actually born in Birmingham. Anyone heard of Birmingham? What? You've heard of Birmingham? Okay. You guys are cooler than I thought. I mean, clearly, very cool. You're British. You're allowed to. You're not British, but you've heard. Okay, you really are awesome. My parents are both teachers. My sister was born hard of hearing. My dad is kind of hard of hearing. He seems to hear dinner, but really doesn't hear washing up or dishes. My mom is hearing, and she would just deal with a very, very noisy house. I got my deafness from measles, and I, over the years, have developed severe, profound deafness. My speech is great, thanks to the education, the accommodations, and healthcare that I was afforded. That combination for me was invaluable. I went on to mainstream school, and I went to take a music degree. I'm actually a professional clarinetist, and I play music through vibration. Then I realized that I needed to earn money and went to work in IT. And I found my true love, which is problem solving. And my first job was working in a newspaper in London called the Daily Mirror, and then working in internet providers, which is where my world blew up because of what I could learn through connectivity and the internet. There were 4 amazing pillars that helped empowered me to be successful over the years. Fundamentals to my life that have removed obstacles and blown up ceilings. Because when you're a person with a disability, you will hit ceilings every day, every week, every month. And people who do not believe that I am capable, people who do not believe that I can do things, myself, I may not believe that I can do them. But that's utter rubbish. My disability is a strength. And now I get to work on a strategy to make that a reality, not just for the 160,000 at Microsoft, but for everything that we do and provide. And our strategy is to help bridge the disability divide, to help bridge the social inequity that exists for people with disabilities around the world. It is not okay that people with disabilities are underemployed, unemployed, uneducated to the degree and the extent of their magic and skills and talents. We need to stop that. And we believe that technology can play a part in that process. So we're working to really help blow the doors off. Is that an analogy that works here? You've all heard of Michael Caine? No, but you're gonna Google it, right? All right. And so how are we doing that? It all starts with people and disabled talent. And if I want you to walk out with anything, is that I want everyone to be talking about people with disabilities as a talent pool. If Microsoft builds anything to empower anyone, we must have people with disabilities at the core and the center of our universe. And so it's a really important strategy for us to build and pull in talent with disabilities into the company. And how do we do that? Well, multiple ways. And we've been doing this a long time, and we've learned a lot. In fact, we're at the point now where we know that our US representation of people with disabilities, as of last summer, and it has grown since, is 7.1%. 7.1% of Microsoft in the US are people with disabilities. The actual number is way higher. Those are the people who have self-identified with a disability. And it's way higher because we know that neurodiversity and mental health has exploded during the COVID and pandemic season. We also are measuring this globally. And our goal, by the way, is for our representation of employees with disabilities to be the same as the density of representation in the population. So it should be somewhere to 15 to 20%. So we are not done. And we are methodically working to hire people with disabilities. And these are 3 quick programs of how we're doing that. One is that we are actively hiring neurodiverse talent, neurodiversity, autism, ADD, dyslexia, dyspraxia. We're actively doing that because we've removed the interview process, because that does not allow people to show their magic and skills and talents. And they come to a week-long academy, virtual, using Minecraft. Anyone heard of Minecraft? Anyone played with Minecraft? Have I got any gamers in the house? It's okay to say yes. We think gamers are the coolest in the world. And we do it that way to allow anyone virtually in the world to be able to apply to our program. We're also hiring people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and we have 400 staff around the world working in our kitchens, in our yards and gardens, and helping us, and they are all paid at least minimum wage, the same pay and benefits as anyone else, because every human deserves to get a pay packet. And then we're also hiring across the board. Do not do what I did 17 years ago. If you work and you apply to any of our companies, tell us about your disability. Let us empower you to be successful. Tell us what accommodations you need. And know that all of our accommodations are paid for centrally. You will never see the cost, and your manager will never see the cost. You will be provided with sign language interpreters, with Braille, with whatever you need to be successful. We also train every single employee on accessibility. It is mandatory. 160,000 employees have taken training on disability etiquette, language, and accessibility fundamentals. And we're now sharing this training. I'll give you the quick link, aka.ms/accessibility fundamentals. And you can check out our training. You can tell me how good or bad it is. I can take the feedback. Because it's important for everyone to get educated. But ultimately, the reason that we do that, the reason that we bring in people, is because we believe that accessibility is more important now than it's ever been. The pandemic has taught us a lot. It put us all in the at-home position very, very quickly. It forced us to use digital technology that may or may not have been accessible. It forced us to turn on features. And for me as a deaf individual, with my sign language interpreter, Jen, so Jenny, Jen, it's really easy. You get a call and my name and one of us will answer, probably not me. When we switched to at home, we had to learn how to work in a virtual environment using sign language interpretation and captioning. Normally, I sit within 6 feet of Jen, and Jen keeps me grounded every day. Captioning at Microsoft increased 3,600% overnight. We made it free and available in all of our products. We also learned that if we were putting out anything that was inaccessible, our blind community and our blind customers would very quickly say, "Whoa, fix that." And I love how vocal they were. We've learned a lot, but I think the core fundamentals is that technology is an enabler. Technology can open doors. And it's incumbent, that's a big word, it's incumbent on a company like us to really make sure that technology is inclusive, it's affordable, it's available wherever you are in the world. So I want to give you, who likes nerdery? Who likes nerdy stuff? Okay, you guys you're going to have to, give me better nods or something. Okay, I'm seeing it. I love the nerdy stuff and the toys. And so some of the stuff that's actually come through the pandemic is kind of fun. And all of it has been created by employees with disabilities and customers and partners, often through hackathons. Anyone gone to a hackathon? We love to hack. We have about 2,000 employees that hack every year in our annual hackathon on disability. And many of our products have come through Hackathon, and I'm going to show you a couple that have come through that process. The first is the accessibility checker. Who uses Microsoft Office? Okay, a few of you. Oh, we got some Office fans. That was a lot of hands, actually. It's about 30% of the room. One thing that we heard during the hackathon is that it was too hard to find it. And this is a very simple spell check for your document. It checks it for accessibility, it tells you how to fix it, and it makes sure that you then have an inclusive, accessible document. It will add auto-alt text. It will describe the images for you. It will tell you if your color contrast is wrong. It will make sure that your reading order is okay so screen readers can get through the page. We moved it next to spell check. So any part of Office now, you hit the button, and it will guide you how to make your document inclusive. Now, people say to me, I don't need to use that. I'm not sending this to anyone with a disability. I'm like, yes, you are. They just haven't told you they have a disability, right? Because disability is invisible mostly. 70% is invisible. This is an easy way for everyone to be an ally to accessibility and inclusion. Captioning. The captioning, you will now find that we're using in Microsoft Teams and other products, we've been giving out to our customers. Twitter is using Microsoft captioning. If you want to join any of the Twitter groups, you'll find that they have now made them inclusive and add captioning to those Twitter spaces. It's a free library that you can lean into and use. We also heard from our deaf community that we needed to add sign language to our games. We have a game called Forza that's about driving cars. I crash every time. Anyone played Forza? Yeah, they're like rally cars, man. They're really cool cars. I'm never going to have one of those. But I could never understand what was being said in the background. So we've added British Sign Language and American Sign Language, so you can understand and play the game all the way through. And then last week, we announced 2 new things. One is that we announced a new adaptive mouse. And I'm going to talk about that one in a second. And second is that we announced this. I'm holding up a little box, and it's called the Microsoft Surface Adaptive Kit. Has anyone seen this thing? No. Well, let me show you, because it's kind of awesome. This came from our blind and mobility groups. And what they were saying is that it was, you pull out a computer, or you go to a microwave, and you're not sure which the buttons are, right? You're not sure which button should I press? Where's the home key? Where's the Windows key? Where's the control key? Where are all the different buttons in it? And so this little box of joy includes stickers. Who loves stickers? Yeah? Right, there's 4 sheets of stickers in here. These stickers are tactile. They're made with really special, I know it sounds like such a simple thing, but I'll tell you the magic behind these is pretty awesome. There are 4 sheets, and what you do is that you add them to your machine. And somebody will run up my laptop that's sitting over there, and I'll show you what I mean by that. In fact, hang on. This is how this goes. So you put them on your machine, and then when you want to grab your machine out of your bag, you just grab it. Right? And you can see on my machine, so I'm just holding my machine up by a little sticker, right? So it's easy to pull out of your bag, which is really important if you have cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy. And then on my machine, I've got stickers for the keys that I use the most. Really simple, but it means that whenever I want to go as a touch typer to the right buttons, I find them right there. If you're blind or have mobility, this becomes invaluable, right? And whoever engages with me most in the next 5 to 10 minutes gets that box of stickers. There you go. See? I'm giving incentives now. And then the Microsoft Adaptive Mouse and Kit. Now, the story behind this is more important than the product, in my view. But the product is also kind of cool. So the picture on the screen is of our Chief Product Officer who announced this at our Ability Summit a couple of weeks ago. He created the Surface, that laptop that I was holding up. He's kind of the coolest man on the planet. And this is a brand new Microsoft mouse. It's coming out later this year. It's been designed with and for people with mobility. And it has a little mouse unit. And then you can 3D print the tail that you need. Now, if you 3D print, that means that you can adapt it to you. This is a design for one, fits to one. And you can download those 3D printable designs and just print them yourself, or bring them to a lab and get them printed. Or you can buy them from the Microsoft Store. We're making this available later, but it's designed to help you. And why is the process more important? The process is more important than the product, because this was designed in our Inclusive Tech Lab with the help of people with disabilities dialing in from all around the world to tell us what they needed. And it was designed with people. You can't design an inclusive product if you don't have people with disabilities at the core. And this is a core product for Microsoft. This isn't niche. This isn't a side hustle. This is a real thing. We are reinventing the mouse, and we're doing it through the lens of disability. So what does that mean for Africa? My hope and my learning this week is that we have a lot to do. But I get really excited by the possibilities of what technology and partnership can do. Not just on the nerdy side, but how we can work together to help build fundamental access. I've spent the last few days here in Kenya, outside of Nairobi, and tomorrow I leave for Malawi. We have a new project there with an organization called the Hunger Project. This is where our partnership as disability nerds and accessibility nerds is to work with the Hunger Project and to work with other parts of Microsoft and other partners like Mawingu to power electricity and consistent power, but also to power connectivity and to bring what connectivity and access to the internet, to digital learning, to the side hustle that happens outside of Nairobi. I can't wait to see what we're going to learn tomorrow with this brand new series of products, a series of projects. We're working across 5 epicenters in Malawi, and my hope is that this is our first pilot of many to come. Because what I learned in Nanuki over the last few days is that the possibilities are endless. This is a picture taken from a vocational training center in Nanuki. And there is a powerful teacher in the front, and she has her arms up, and let me tell you, she was powering that room. Her energy was beautiful. My parents, who are both teachers, would have just sat with their gobsmacked, I think, if they saw that room. Connectivity provided by our partners Mawingu had empowered a new level of access for this classroom. 90% unemployment. But these were all people learning how to build their own business and build their own digital marketplace. And to do it inclusively, to be inclusive of people with disabilities, but also to sell to people with disabilities. It was an example of how layers of access can come together to empower people across the spectrum of disability. There's way more that we need to do, but I get really excited about the possibilities of partnering with many of you and partnering with organizations like Mawingu and the Hunger Project to see how we can really be better together. I'm really impassioned, as you can tell. I really, 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 really want to empower people with disabilities around the world. I have learned so much in my time here, and I know I'm going to learn way more in Malawi before I get on the plane back to Seattle. It's a long flight, and I'm going to have a lot of thinking to do. But know that we are committed Know that we are in this game. Know that we are growth mindset, and I want to learn from you. And know that we have a lot more stuff. And so if you want to check out any of our materials, please go to microsoft.com/accessibility. Please go check out the sessions from the Ability Summit. They're on our YouTube channel. Just look for Microsoft Accessibility. Check out me. I'm always on social media. You will see me. My tag is almost the same as my Hotmail, Jenny Lay Fluffy. I'm not telling you why. But most of all, I just want to say thank you for what you do every day. I sat here last night watching the youth with disabilities, listening to the fire in your bellies for more an inclusive and accessible world. And I just want to say, please, keep going. I didn't believe for a second when I joined Microsoft to work on Hotmail that I would be doing what I am today. Do not let ceilings get in your way. Blow up those doors. And maybe together we can create a more inclusive world. Thank you very much.